Hello everybody, it's Michael from ReplicaAirguns.com, and today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite guns from 2014. There's two questions that I get asked quite often. One is, how many guns do I own? I can't really tell you. I haven't actually sat down, pulled them all out, and counted them. I'm just going to venture a guess. If I were to add up all my pellet guns, air guns, airsoft guns, blank guns, and real guns, I'm going to say I have a couple hundred guns. I don't know. I'm just taking a random guess. There's a lot of them. And the second part of that question is, am I going to be doing some sort of a collection video for this year and whatever year that happens to be? So this is 2014 still. We're almost moving into 2015. I'm shooting this video on the 30th. Hopefully I'll have it up for the 31st. So it'll be actually out in 2014. If not, it'll be out maybe the 1st or 2nd or something like that. Anyways, I'm not going to show you all my guns. It would just literally take a month of planning, perhaps, I don't know. It would take a long time because, I like to sort of talk about each one a little bit. To try and show you all of them and plan it all out would be pretty difficult. I used to do it. It used to take quite a while, even when I had less guns. So what I basically am doing is I'm going to show you some of my favorite guns that I've reviewed for 2014. Now, they're not all my favorite guns. They're just some of the ones that sort of come to mind that I was able to kind of pull out and look at and say, yeah, this would be a nice one to show. I really liked it. So let's get started here. We'll just kind of start from the right side over here and move forward. Now, some of these guns aren't even available, like this blank gun here. I don't think you can get it anymore. It's an older style blank gun. We'll talk about it in a bit. But a lot of these guns are available. There are new guns that are available from certain manufacturers. So we're going to take a quick look at the Makarov here. This is one of the Legends Makarovs. It's a newer Makarov from Umarex. If you're familiar with the older all-metal Makarov BB gun, it was a nice gun, moving slide, pretty much all metal, really well priced, good feet per second, decent accuracy, really a good overall gun. The only thing that it lacked, well, a couple things, was a full-size dropout magazine. So let's see if I can remember how to open this. So this guy's got a full-size dropout magazine, but the non-blowback version didn't have blowback. So this guy's got blowback. Not only does it have a moving slide, but it does have blowback. Now, I don't have any CO2 in these guns. Working safety and everything. Single and double action. Well, basically, no, sorry. Single action only. Okay. But a fairly long trigger. You'll notice that the trigger's kind of long. Now, on the non-blowback version, you get single and double action with a shorter trigger pull and single action, which makes for perhaps a little bit better target shooting. But this is a really fun gun to shoot. Part of the Legends series. Moving on with the Legends series, I will talk a little bit about another product. Beretta 84, right? And pretty nice looking gun. And it's also blowback. Right? Full blowback. Again, full-size dropout magazine. Now, there wasn't a non-blowback version of this gun. This was introduced basically last year. I believe at SHOT Show I saw it for the first time in 2014. Really nice gun and licensed and everything. Again, through Umarex, part of the Legends series. Really nice pistol. Good blowback. Pretty decent accuracy. Not too bad a trigger. Lots of fun. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but there is another Legends gun that I liked from Umarex, and this is the broom handle Mauser. Okay, so you'll see that we have another broom handle Mauser here. This is the KWC version. So we'll kind of talk about these two guns at the same time. Might as well do it right now. So the KWC version is an all-metal blowback gun. The KWC version has, the full-size dropout magazine. Again, it's got full semi and full auto. This one actually does full auto and semi-auto, which is really cool. Now, it does use up a lot of CO2. It is very heavy. It's a little bit, the accuracy isn't bad, but it likes to shoot high. So I noticed that gun, even with this all the way down, so as you move it up, it should shoot higher and higher. Even with it all the way down, it still likes to kind of shoot high. So that's a little bit of a problem. You just got to shoot lower, but it would be good at further ranges, I'm sure, at least coming zeroing back down. Nice gun. Full blowback again, full dropout metal magazine, kind of the most realistic of the two. Now, getting back to the Legends Umarex series, you have a very similar, looking gun in terms of size, a little lighter because there's more plastic and whatnot on it. It does have a full-size dropout metal magazine. Holds the BBs as well, steel BBs. All these guns so far I've shown you are steel BB CO2 guns, but there's no semi in full. It's just semi-auto, but it does have blowback action, so it's really cool. And this one probably shoots a little hotter, perhaps. I can't remember exactly, but it will definitely get more shots per CO2 because of the mechanism. And I believe it shot a little bit better, like in terms of centering on target, because it did shoot more to the center of the target. So in terms of shooting, this one's probably going to be your best bet. In terms of realism, the KWC would be your best bet. Alright, let's talk about this blank gun here. This is the ME General. Alright, and I've done reviews on all these guns. I'll put little annotations there so you can see them. But this is a beautiful little blank pistol. Fairly simple, like a lot of parts don't actually work on it. The safety, even the slide catch, doesn't like to engage unless you actually push it up. It's just the way that this gun is made. Shoots, again, it doesn't even have the magazine release there, it's down here. And this guy shoots 8mm blanks, but it works perfectly fine. Try to get that back in. It works perfectly fine. And as you can see, you know, obviously it's a blowback design. See, it's going to scratch there. This whole sort of slide catch is kind of wonky, but beautiful, nice, heavyweight all-metal gun. Really quite well made. Just very simple, but it's, you know, there's not too many of these 1911 blank guns around, and it's just hard. They're hard to find here in Canada, especially. Wood grips. Nice little gun. Watch the review on that. I really like it. I just love 1911, so I'm going to like it, obviously. Let's see if I can get this back in there. Alright, so let's keep moving forward here. We have the Gletscher NGT, and this is a nice revolver, right? But this is I think it's a 5-shot revolver again. The shells come out here. You load the shells with BBs. Let's take one out here. BBs go in the front, steel BBs, 4.5mm, and you just manually load each one in. You can take the cylinder out, but you got to take it all apart. Watch my video on it. Really nice looking gun. I haven't done the shooting test. I'm hoping to do that if I can get out this week and do a couple shooting tests because the weather isn't too bad. But I wanted to get this video done first. This sort of collection video for 2014 highlights, I guess you'd say. But this is a beautiful gun. It's just so awesome. I mean, it's so different than so many other guns, and it's quite small. Nice compact little revolver. Okay. And we have another Gletscher product, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Alright, we have our Colt Commander now. I couldn't really not bring up one of these KWC 1911s. This is the Umarex version. So it's Colt Commander license, Colt license through Umarex. Umarex holds the Colt license. Again, if you don't understand how it works, a lot of these gun manufacturers, Umarex, many of them, ASG, Gletscher, they buy guns off of other companies who make guns. So basically they'll sometimes hold the license or not. Depends. Sometimes they don't license the gun. Like Gletscher doesn't really license them to particular names, but they buy certain guns from certain companies that they like, have those companies perhaps make them to their specifications, some slight changes, cosmetic changes, like in this version here. This is unique. It's a little different than some of the other KWC guns. It's got the chrome barrel and breech. Right, has Colt Commander on it. It has sort of some tactical components, right? So you can see that it's got more of the tactical sights, trigger. Not so much the safety. It's not ambidextrous. Some of them will have ambidextrous safeties. Working backstrap safety. Again, this is a blowback, full metal, steel BB shooter. Really nice. If you haven't seen my other like Tanfoglio Witness or KWC 1911 videos, make sure to watch those. There's also, what was it, a Blackwater video or something like that as well. Another rebranded version of the KWC 1911. They are all made by KWC. They're all interchangeable in terms of slide and magazine and all those things, right? They just have some slight cosmetic differences. They all shoot the same, right? People say, oh, can you review this new one that's out by Remington or something? And I'll be like, yeah, it's the same one. It just says Remington on it. Other than me saying, hey, it says Remington on it or whatever, then, you know, it's not any different. Just keep that in mind. All right, another KWC gun. This is the Tanfoglio Gold Custom. And it's basically an IPSC gun. Hopefully I'm saying that right. IPSC gun. I always get the characters in the wrong order. Hopefully I'm doing it right again. But basically, you know, this gun's designed for target shooting. Quickly, guys will basically compete in target practice. They have a number of targets, sometimes moving targets in a variety of areas. They shoot high, they shoot low, they shoot from different situations at different types of targets. And the idea is to shoot those targets as quickly as possible, and safely, of course, as possible. And they use these guns. They're slightly modified. They're usually balanced a little different. They'll have compensators on them so that they basically, you can acquire the target a little quicker. They'll have sight rails with red dots. They're very quick at acquiring targets. And this gun, for me, was a lot of fun because the balance is great, and it does. Even though blowback CO2 guns don't kick as much as regular, real guns, if the balance is there, they're still going to shoot better. They're still going to acquire the target a lot quicker. They're going to settle down a little quicker. Everything's going to be that much quicker about them. And this gun is really easy and quick to shoot, and it was a lot of fun. So watch the review for that one. Pull that out. Let me just show you. It's all, again, working blowback. Right, so you got the, right. So that should lock back. Why is it not? Oh, safety. Try that again. Not locking back for me for some reason. Should. Oh well. I'll figure it out later. But this gun does lock back on the last shot. Normally. Alright. What have we got going on here? Yes, I almost forgot a couple guns here, and I did want to bring this in. Now, getting back to the KWC, sort of the historic guns, I wanted to bring in this Luger. And this is another KWC. Kind of came out at the same time. Right? This is a Luger. It's not licensed or anything, but you'll have to pull this out to pull that back. But it's got a working toggle. Okay, so it's blowback, and it's very true to the original Luger in almost every way. And these do, by the way, the KWC Mauser and the Luger, they both come in 4.5mm BB, steel BB, and 6mm Airsoft. So keep that in mind. Really nice gun. If you like those classic guns, these are great to have around. Alright, let's move over to the revolver here. We have the 357 revolver. Okay, it's going to be a little bright. Lighting's a little bright for this guy. I've reviewed this one, of course. This is the KWC version. They come in a variety of barrel lengths and finishes. You can get them in black. You can get them in, I believe, 2.5 inch. This is the 6 inch, perhaps 4, perhaps 8 inch, I can't remember, but they do come in different size barrel lengths, different finishes, and not only are they available in not just your 4.5mm steel BB, but they're also available in 6mm Airsoft, usually mix and match, sometimes slightly different finishes, but really nice gun. Adjustable sights, the magazines, you have speed loaders that come with them, shell loading, a lot of fun, shooting double and single action. Right? Really nice. And again, companies will relicense them. So here you have the exact same gun, licensed with the Python, so the Colt Python licensing. Okay, Colt. And this one is sold or distributed by Umarex. It is the same gun with a different finish and with licensing. So if you ask me how they both shoot the same, because the mechanics are the same. And again, I'm sure Umarex will be distributing them in different barrel lengths and whatnot as well, depending on which ones they decide to go with. So, and perhaps different finishes too. I believe they already have some other finishes out on the market for the Colt Python. So that'll give you an idea. Really nice guns, again, shell loading. Now the Umarex, as far as I know, just goes with the 4.5mm steel BB. CO2 loads in here. Really nice gun. These guns shoot quite well too. They're quite accurate, and they have fairly decent FPS. Alright, moving up the table to the top, we have our Gletscher gun here. This is, I'm going to have to say, probably my favorite acquisition for the year. This thing is so cool. This is the Gletscher, and it's the M1891 Sonoff Mosin Nagant. I always say Nagant, but people are saying it's Nagant or Nagant, sort of almost a silent G. And again, it's a CO2 BB rifle. It's bolt action. Very cool, right? And you have this magazine that releases at the bottom, and you put your BBs and your CO2 in there. Very cool gun, and it's bolt action. It's kind of old school bolt action, right? Really cool. Gotta like it. clankiness of it, just the shooting, and the way you hold it's a little bit awkward, but it does work. And when I was doing my target shooting with it, I was actually able to hit some stuff pretty good at a variety of ranges. So you definitely watch my shooting review for this gun. Very pleasant gun. It is not real wood. The stock isn't real wood, but this gun I'd say weighs a good 6 pounds at least. Somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly, but it's feeling like about a 6-pound gun in my hand right now. Has great weight to it. So that's a nice one. Probably one of my favorites of the year. Alright, there's a couple guns that I just quickly wanted to show you, and one is this guy here. This is the ASG, and this is the CZ-P09. Now, the reason I want to mention it is because I've mainly been showing you BB guns. Like I said, a lot of these do come in Airsoft as well, but we're focusing on the BB guns a little bit more here. But this is your pellet version. So what's kind of neat about this one is it's got a pellet magazine, a rotary mag. Now, because of these rotary pellet mags, there are limitations to how the pellet guns, the blowback ones especially, work. This one does have blowback. It does have blowback, but the mechanism is different. You can't lock back the slide on the last shot, because when the magazine rotates, there's no follower, right? So like on a typical BB magazine, you got that BB follower that comes up. The follower disengages basically engages the slide catch, which stops the slide from coming back. You can't do that with a rotary magazine. There's no way to tell the gun that the magazine's empty. There's just no way to do it. So that's a little bit of a problem. You can't stack pellets because they're lead. They'll just get all munched together. So there's limitations with pellet guns, and unfortunately they don't always function as realistically as BB guns. It's the reality of it all. Would have been nice to have a cutout ejection port with this, but I wanted to bring it up because I like it when companies at least make the attempt to try to facilitate some pellet guns with blowback. Give them kudos for that. They're doing it, they're trying it, they're making them, right? So this is a nice little gun. I remember it shot pretty good. Reasonable FPS, decent accuracy. So check out the review for this. This is the CZ-P09 pellet with blowback, 1.177 caliber pellet. Very nice gun. And leaving on another pellet gun, wanted to bring up this Gammo, another pellet gun. Okay, so I'm gonna just pull this off. This is the only thing I don't like about it. This cover has a tendency to kind of just come off anyways, but it's not necessary to shoot the gun. You don't need it on the gun. And the magazine actually comes out this way. You got to pull this in. But again, it's another pellet magazine, right? It's another rotary mag pellet blowback gun. And so you know what? Hey, let's keep them coming, right? Let's keep these guns coming. So this one has removable CO2, right? Put that back on. And it's got all your bells and whistles in terms of gizmos and folding stocks. You can put, all kinds of stuff on it, which is cool. It has all these rails. So it's pretty nice because it's basically an SMG, or whatever you want to call it, subcompact machine gun, PDW, and you can shoot it like a pistol if you want. It's even got open sights if you want to go that right, or you can put a red dot on it. You can put tack lights on it, and it shoots pretty good. You got your charging handle there, right? Pretty cool. And that trigger is actually pretty decent. It's a little long, but it's light, and it works really well. Now the downside to this gun is it uses a lot of CO2. Most pellet shooting blowback guns will use a lot of CO2. That's just the way they are. Heavy pellet blowback equals lots of CO2 if you want to get the FPS up there to anything reasonable. So the trajectory from your first shot in your magazine to your last is going to drop a little bit, because as these guns cool down, because there's so much CO2 going through them, it just tends to do that. Pretty much all the pellet blowback guns will do that. The PX4s, the Gammos, the PTs, all of those guys, the ASG, they all do it. So keep that in mind. Alright, thanks again for watching another Replica Airguns video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Also come down to replicairguns.com, where I have lots of articles on all these guns and reviews, tabletop reviews, field test shooting reviews, all kinds of things with pictures and stuff. So check that out. We also have our Canada and US Replica Airguns online stores, where you can buy a lot of these guns as well, and blank guns and accessories and all kinds of things. So thanks again for watching. Have a great new year. Hopefully 2015 is going to be one of our best airgun, airsoft gun, blank gun years yet. Let's hope. Alright, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.